Elliot Knox stood on the bridge of the Dauntless, a retrofitted cargo ship turned interstellar exploration vessel. The dim light of distant stars reflected on his face, his eyes scanning the navigational charts. "3 systems," he murmured, gripping the console tightly. "She's out there somewhere." The journey to find his daughter had started as a desperate plea to the stars, but it had evolved into something far more complicated. What began as a rescue mission now threatened to upend the political balance of 3 interstellar factions. A flash of light snapped him out of his thoughts. An alert sounded, a fleet of alien ships emerging from hyperspace. Captain Knox, the ship's AI Athena, announced. Unidentified vessels on an intercept course. Elliot's jaw tightened. He wasn't just a father on a mission. He was a human venturing into territories where humanity's existence was regarded as a cautionary tale. The aliens were relentless in their pursuit, believing Elliot carried a weapon capable of devastating entire civilizations. Little did they know, his only weapon was his undying resolve. As the alien ships closed in, Athena's voice carried a note of urgency. "Incoming hail. They demand our surrender." Elliot smirked, his fingers dancing over the console. "Patch them through," he ordered. The holographic display flickered, revealing a towering alien figure clad in ornate armor. Its deep-set eyes glared at him. "Human," it hissed, "you trespass in forbidden space. Surrender the artifact, or face annihilation." Elliot leaned forward, his expression unyielding. "I don't have your artifact," he replied coolly. "But if you're looking for a fight, you found one." Without waiting for a response, he cut the transmission. "Athena, initiate evasive maneuvers. Let's see if they can keep up." The Dauntless roared to life, engines flaring as the ship veered into a nearby asteroid field. The alien fleet followed, their weapons lighting up the darkness. Elliot's pulse quickened as he weaved through the debris, his mind racing with calculations. Each maneuver was a delicate dance between survival and destruction. Athena's calm voice provided constant updates, her efficiency a stark contrast to the chaos outside. "Elliot," Athena said, "we can't outrun them indefinitely." He clenched his fists, his thoughts turning to his daughter. Giving up wasn't an option. "Activate the EMP charge," he commanded. "Let's level the playing field." The ship's systems hummed as the EMP deployed, sending a wave of energy that disabled the alien ships momentarily. It wasn't a permanent solution, but it bought him time. Elliot took a deep breath, his mind flashing back to the last time he saw his daughter. Her laughter, her bright eyes, it was all the motivation he needed. "Hang on, kid," he whispered. "I'm coming." The Dauntless slipped away into the vast expanse of space, leaving the stunned alien fleet in its wake. The Dauntless drifted into a region of space shrouded in mystery. Known as the Veil, this uncharted sector was infamous for its treacherous anomalies and tales of ships disappearing without a trace. Elliot's gaze was fixed on the swirling patterns of light outside the viewport. "Athena, any signs of life?" he asked, his voice tinged with both hope and apprehension. "Scans indicate a faint energy signature on the edge of the veil," Athena replied. "It matches the trajectory of your daughter's last known location." Elliot's heart raced. "Set a course," he instructed, his hands gripping the controls. The ship edged closer to the signature, the veil's chaotic energy threatening to tear it apart. Alarms blared as the Dauntless shuddered under the strain. "Stabilize the shields," Elliot shouted. "We're not turning back now." The energy signature led him to a derelict station, its surface marred by years of neglect. The station loomed ominously, its design alien yet eerily familiar. "Athena, run a systems analysis," Elliot ordered as he prepared to dock. "I want to know what we're walking into." "Preliminary scans indicate the station is of hybrid design," Athena reported. "Human and alien technology integrated. It's highly unusual." Elliot frowned, his curiosity piqued. Docking with the station was a delicate operation, the Dauntless groaning as it latched onto the ancient structure. Armed with a plasma pistol and a small data pad, Elliot ventured inside. The air was thick with decay, the dim corridors illuminated only by his flashlight. As he navigated the labyrinthine halls, he stumbled upon a control room. The walls were lined with screens displaying fragmented data. Among the chaos, a single message caught his eye: Project Unity. The words sent a chill down his spine. "Athena, what do you make of this?" he asked, transmitting the data back to the ship. Project Unity was a classified initiative from Earth's Golden Age, Athena explained. Its purpose was to create a device capable of bridging communication between species. However, the project was abandoned after the intergalactic community deemed it too dangerous. Elliot's mind raced. Could this be connected to his daughter's disappearance? As he delved deeper into the station, he discovered a series of logs left by its previous inhabitants. The logs painted a grim picture of betrayal and desperation. "They tried to harness the artifact," Elliot muttered, piecing together the fragmented narrative. "And it cost them everything." His thoughts were interrupted by a sudden noise, a metallic scraping echoing through the halls. Elliot froze, his hand instinctively reaching for his pistol. "Athena, is there something else on this station?" "Detecting multiple life forms," Athena replied. "Their origin is unclear." He wasn't alone. The hunt for his daughter had led him into the jaws of danger, but turning back was not an option. Gritting his teeth, he pressed forward, determined to uncover the truth. The station seemed to pulse with an almost sentient energy, its walls humming faintly as if alive. Elliot crept through the dim corridors, every step echoing unnaturally. The air was dense, and an inexplicable weight pressed on his chest. Ahead, a faint glow beckoned him, a central chamber, perhaps the station's heart. He stepped inside, and the sight before him was nothing short of breathtaking. The chamber was vast, its walls covered in symbols that shimmered like liquid light. In the center stood a crystalline structure, pulsating with an otherworldly brilliance. Suspended within it was a holographic interface displaying countless streams of data. Elliot approached cautiously, his instincts on high alert. "Athena, are you seeing this?" he whispered. "Affirmative," she replied. "This appears to be a central hub for the station's operations. However, the technology surpasses anything on record." Elliot reached out, his hand hovering over the interface. The moment his fingers made contact, the chamber seemed to come alive. Symbols rearranged themselves into recognizable patterns, and a synthesized voice spoke. "Identity confirmed. Access granted." His heart skipped a beat. "What?" he muttered. Before he could react, the holograph displayed a series of scenes from Earth's history, blueprints of advanced technologies, and most chillingly, footage of his daughter. She was inside a similar chamber, interacting with the same crystalline interface. Her voice echoed faintly through the room. "It's not just a key, Dad. It's a map. It's showing us how to fix everything." Elliot's breath caught in his throat. "She's been here," he whispered. Determined, he began to sift through the data, searching for clues to her whereabouts. The system responded intuitively, guiding him toward a specific file marked Project Unity, Final Phase. As he accessed the file, the station trembled. Alarms blared, and the synthesized voice returned, now urgent. "Warning. Intrusion detected. Security measures activated. Athena, what's happening?" Elliot shouted. "The station's defense protocols have been triggered," she replied. "We need to leave immediately." The walls of the chamber began to shift, panels sliding open to reveal mechanical sentinels armed with plasma weapons. Elliot drew his pistol, firing at the nearest one. Sparks flew as the sentinel collapsed, but more emerged. He ducked behind a console, his mind racing. "Athena, can you override the system?" "Working on it," she said. "I'll need time." Elliot fired another shot, buying Athena precious seconds. The crystalline structure flickered, its glow intensifying. Then, without warning, it emitted a pulse of energy that sent the sentinels into a momentary shutdown. "Now," Athena urged. "Get back to the ship." Elliot bolted from the chamber, the station's corridors now alive with chaos. Lights flickered, and strange, shadowy forms moved in the periphery of his vision. He reached the docking bay, his pulse pounding. The Dauntless awaited, its ramp already lowered. Once aboard, He slammed the hatch shut and powered up the engines. The station's defense systems targeted the ship, but the Dauntless surged forward, narrowly escaping a barrage of plasma fire. As the ship entered the safety of open space, Elliot collapsed into his chair, breathing heavily. "Athena, did we get the data?" he asked. "Affirmative," she replied. "But it's incomplete. We'll need to decode it." Elliot nodded, determination hardening his features. "We're one step closer," he said. "Hang on, kid. I'm not giving up." The Dauntless disappeared into the stars, the mysteries of Project Unity and his daughter's fate driving him forward. The Dauntless soared through the expanse, its engines humming steadily as Elliot sifted through the data Athena had managed to extract. The decrypted fragments painted a fragmented picture, a vast network of forgotten stations, each holding a piece of the puzzle. One name repeated throughout the files: Erebus. "What do we know about Erebus?" Elliot asked, his voice breaking the tense silence. Athena's tone was as precise as ever. "Erebus is a planet located on the outskirts of the Veil. Scans indicate heavy electromagnetic interference, which may explain why it's been overlooked by most factions. The data suggests it's the origin point of Project Unity's operations." Elliot stared at the coordinates glowing on the screen. "Set a course," he ordered. The Dauntless shuddered slightly as it adjusted its trajectory. Athena added, "Elliot, Erebus's atmospheric conditions are highly unstable. If we attempt to land, it could compromise the ship." "We'll figure it out," Elliot muttered, his mind already spinning with contingency plans. Hours later, the planet loomed ahead, a swirling mass of black and violet, its atmosphere crackling with storm-like energy. The sight was mesmerizing, yet menacing. As they drew closer, Athena issued a grim warning, detecting faint signals originating from the surface. They matched the life forms encountered on the station. Elliot's stomach tightened. Whatever was down there, it wasn't friendly. The ship trembled as it pierced the turbulent atmosphere. Electrical storms lashed at the hull, and Elliot gripped the controls, his knuckles white. The Dauntless landed with a heavy thud on the rocky surface, its systems flickering from the electromagnetic interference. Elliot stepped outside, his suit shielding him from the harsh conditions. The terrain was barren, save for jagged rock formations and the faint outline of a massive structure in the distance. The building's silhouette was both alien and familiar, its architecture echoing the hybrid design of the station. "Stay alert, Athena," Elliot said, his voice steady despite the tension coursing through him. As he approached the structure, the air seemed to hum with latent energy. The entrance was sealed, but a panel on the side flickered faintly, its alien script glowing dimly. Athena's voice crackled in his comms. "I can interface with the panel, but it will take time." Elliot nodded, keeping watch as Athena worked. The minutes dragged on, the oppressive silence broken only by the occasional rumble of distant thunder. Suddenly, the ground beneath him trembled. "Elliot," Athena warned, multiple life forms approaching rapidly. From the shadows emerged figures bipedal, but their movements unnaturally fluid. Their forms seemed to shift, as though struggling to maintain cohesion. Elliot raised his weapon, his heart pounding. The creatures paused, their featureless faces tilting as if studying him. One lunged forward, and Elliot fired instinctively. The plasma bolt struck the creature, causing it to writhe before disintegrating into a cloud of dark mist. The others hesitated but didn't retreat. "Athena, any progress?" Elliot barked. "Almost there," she replied. The creatures advanced, forcing Elliot to fire again. Each shot bought a few precious seconds, but the swarm seemed endless. He could feel the weight of their presence, a palpable sense of malice pressing against him. "Got it," Athena announced. The panel lit up, and the door slid open with a hiss. Elliot didn't hesitate, darting inside as the door sealed behind him. The interior was eerily quiet, the walls glowing faintly with the same symbols he'd seen on the station. "Athena, what is this place?" he asked, his voice echoing. "This appears to be a control hub for Project Unity," Athena replied. "The energy signatures suggest this facility is still operational." Elliot moved cautiously, his footsteps echoing. Ahead, a massive console dominated the room, its interface glowing faintly. As he approached, The symbols shifted, resolving into a familiar language. The console displayed a message, Unity Protocol, final activation pending. Awaiting human input. What does it mean? Elliot asked. This facility seems to house the central core of Project Unity, Athena explained. Activating it may provide the answers you seek, but it could also trigger unforeseen consequences. Elliot hesitated, his mind racing. The mission had always been about finding his daughter, but this was bigger than him. Whatever Unity was, it held the potential to reshape everything humanity's place among the stars, the fragile balance of interstellar politics, and perhaps even the fate of the galaxy itself. His hand hovered over the console. Athena, can we access more information before committing? I can attempt to bypass the protocols, she said. As Athena worked, the room began to hum, the symbols on the walls glowing brighter. A voice echoed, neither human nor alien, yet hauntingly familiar. You have come far, Elliot Knox. Will you see it through? Elliot froze, his blood running cold. Who's there? The voice didn't answer directly. Instead, the console displayed an image of figures standing in a chamber, similar to the one he'd seen before. It was his daughter, her face determined yet wary. Dad, her voice said, if you're seeing this, it means you found Unity. I don't know if it's too late, but you need to understand the artifact isn't just a key. It's a choice for all of us. The message ended abruptly, leaving Elliot staring at the console. The weight of the decision loomed over him, the stakes higher than ever. Athena, he said quietly, prepare to activate the protocol. It's time we found out the truth. The Dauntless waited in silence outside, the storm raging as Elliot took the first steps toward unraveling the mystery of Unity and perhaps humanity's ultimate destiny. Elliot's fingers hovered over the console, his breath catching in his throat. The choice before him was monumental. Whatever Unity truly was, it held the power to reshape existence, not just for humanity, but for every species in the galaxy. Athena, he murmured. Are we ready to activate? Athena's voice came through, steady yet tinged with caution. All systems are aligned. Once the protocol initiates, there's no turning back. Elliot stared at the holographic image of his daughter, her words echoing in his mind. It's not just a key. It's a choice. He exhaled deeply. Let's finish this. His hand came down on the console, and the room erupted in a symphony of light and sound. The walls shimmered, the symbols transforming into complex patterns of equations and star maps. A low hum grew into a thunderous vibration as the crystalline core at the center of the room began to glow, its light piercing and unearthly. Then, the voice returned. This time, it was no longer disembodied. A shimmering figure materialized in front of him, a being of pure energy, its form oscillating between human and alien shapes. You have chosen to awaken Unity, it said, its voice resonating with countless layers of tones and languages. Do you understand what this means? Elliot tightened his grip on his weapon, though he knew it would be useless. No, but I'll find out, he said defiantly. The being tilted its head, almost amused. Unity is not a tool. It is a convergence, a moment when all sentient beings can share their thoughts, their fears, their dreams. A universal mind. But such harmony comes at a cost. What cost? Elliot demanded. Individuality, the being replied. Unity requires the dissolution of barriers between species, between consciousnesses, between realities. Once activated, there is no separation. All become one. Elliot's mind raced. This was far beyond anything he'd imagined. His mission had been to find his daughter, not decide the fate of sentience itself. What happens if I stop it? Then the galaxy continues. As it is fragmented, divided, and teetering on the brink of annihilation, the being said, Unity is inevitable. You can either guide its awakening or leave it to emerge chaotically, in war and despair. The holographic image of his daughter appeared again, this time interwoven with the shimmering figure. Her voice broke through the static. Dad, you know what you have to do. This is bigger than us. Bigger than everything. Elliot clenched his fists. And what about you? Are you still alive? The image faltered, her face flickering. I'm here, she whispered. But if you activate Unity, I won't be me anymore. I'll be everything. The weight of the decision bore down on him. Every instinct screamed at him to protect his daughter, to shield her from this incomprehensible fate. But deep down, he knew she was right. The galaxy needed this. Humanity needed this. With a trembling hand, Elliot reached for the final switch. I'm sorry, he whispered, his voice breaking. I love you, kiddo. As the switch flipped, the chamber exploded with light. The crystalline core shattered into a billion fragments, each piece transforming into a stream of energy that shot out into the cosmos. Elliot fell to his knees as the room dissolved around him, his body suspended in a vast, infinite void. Voices filled the space, billions of them, speaking in unison yet distinctly individual. He could feel their thoughts, their emotions, their memories. For a moment, he felt his daughter's presence, warm and comforting. Dad, her voice said, now part of the collective. You did it. We're free. Tears streamed down his face. Is this the end? No, she replied. It's a beginning. The void around him began to shift, galaxies and stars forming anew. Unity was rewriting reality, weaving together the countless threads of existence into a single, harmonious tapestry. Elliot's consciousness began to fade, his individuality merging with the collective. As his final thought. He clung to the image of his daughter's smile. And then there was silence.